Hi, welcome to another video by Sparky, and today I'm going to do a little update review on the Marvel Knights DVDs. You can see here. I did a review of these and a little unboxing of them a few weeks back. I've now pretty much watched them all, still got a couple of the X-Men ones to watch, but they're all the same series, they're all kind of the same feel, with a different storyline. It's the only one that has more than one season in this set. I do believe there is a couple of follow-up ones in a Wolverine set. I think there's two movies that are part 1 and 2, but I'm not completely sure on that, but I think there is. But for this video, I wanted to get into, the only one I had watched was the Thor and Loki when I did the first review, just to give an idea and a feel and my first thoughts of the DVD. Having watched them all, they are all, funny enough, distinctively different, which I thought was really good. They didn't just take the same formula for the animation that they use, the style of the animation, although as a motion comic, the look of it and how the characters move and things is different to each one of the movies. So you will notice the difference if you watch Thor of Loki and then you go and watch Iron Man. The style of how they animated it and the feel of the programme as well is really distinctively different for them all. All the movies all the series are all short. All the episodes are roughly around 10 minutes long, give or take a few minutes for particular episodes. It is short, as they were originally done for iTunes, I believe, to download, and then eventually were released on DVD set. Each series runs for an hour to a little over an hour. The Black Panther one is what is the longest, I believe. It was on for nearly 2 hours. That was quite long, whereas the other ones are like an hour and 15-20 minutes to an hour and a half at most. But getting into the series themselves, the best one, I enjoyed the Black Panther one the most. Try and listen to that song without theme tune for this, without singing along yet after the first episode or so, because you do hear it quite frequently with the episodes being so short, so you'll hear it a lot over a 2 hour period, and by the time you're finished you can't help but singing along in the song, because it was a very, very well done song, with kind of combinations of kind of techno sound with the African kind of drum music, and it was really well done. But the series itself was great. It all starts off with in the beginning, where T'Challa's, the way they've worked it out is T'Challa's father is the Black Panther. Now, instead of T'Challa's father dying, and he just takes over the mantle, they actually did this thing. I'm not completely familiar with the comics, so I don't know if this was ever done in the comics. I believe these are adapted from comics, so at some point it has been done. These storylines come directly from certain comics, I do believe. So I believe it has been done at some point. But it's certainly something that I was new to, was the idea of every single year they had the festival with the Panther, and the Panther allows an amount of challengers to challenge him to come and take the throne from him, and if you can beat him in one-on-one combat, which is not to the death, but until the other man can't continue, if whoever wins that becomes the king. Obviously, if the king wins, he remains king, and if he doesn't, he takes over. So what they did was they did a few different challengers before, and they worked out this storyline as well in with T'Challa's sister. She wanted to take on her father in the arena to become queen. That eventually didn't happen, and ended up somebody else squeezed in front of her, took the king on, beat the king, and that turned out to be T'Challa himself, the king's son, and he took on the role of Black Panther. Sorry, I just realised there it's not T'Challa's father, it's T'Challa's uncle. T'Challa's father was murdered by the Claw. Before the story had even began. For the main story, they went into a bit about that, so that's my mistake. Sorry about that. But it was his uncle, not his father. I've just realised that. But anyway, the story was still, so he ends up kind of leads on from there, starts to go into storylines with Claw, him wanting to take over and bringing in some other villains from the Marvel Universe, like Juggernaut is in this series, along with a few others that he uses. That was my favourite series. The next good one, the Iron Man one, was very, very good. It's called Iron Man Extremis, and it kind of based off this idea. Tony Stark's trying to better himself, and the only way he's going to win the battle and beat the villain, who for whatever reason at this time I can't remember who it was, but it's some kind of superhuman kind of thing, and he's got the Extremis. Extremis is a kind of virus type thing to make him into a more superhuman. There is a company behind it that I can't remember what they're called, but he's unbeatable, and he's tried a few times to defeat him, and they couldn't defeat him. So it builds up to this and builds up to this, till basically Iron Man injects the Extremis into himself, but he fiddles with it and does it to try and get it in such a way that it allows him to interact with the suit to make him faster, in the sense of when he wants something to happen, he can think it and it'll happen. It's taken too long for things to happen for him, and he thinks if he can link up to the suit, so that the suit and his brain become one, he can overcome the villain and defeat him. So that's basically how that story builds up. It's a very, very good film. There's some things in there, surprises, storylines, things that pop out. I didn't see that one coming. There's a couple of instances in this Iron Man one which I thought were very good. So definitely, probably for me, my third favourite in the series. My second favourite is probably Loki and Thor, Blood Brothers, which I discussed in my previous video. So if you'd like to hear more about that one, check that one out. My favourite one is the Black Panther, and then Iron Man in there. That's probably my three favourite. Going into the X-Men series, which I've only watched the one so far. There is 4 series of it, but they've all got different names, like Astonishing X-Men, Dangerous, I believe, Unstoppable, Gifted and Torn. But they're all just the same series, and the storylines follow on as you would in a regular TV series. So the animation, as I said, is completely different to any of the other series. And they do kind of try and build this. I've got this descent, I've noticed. So it starts off with the characters. We need to see how it develops throughout the series, but it does start off with a descent of the characters. Now in this Charles Xavier, I do believe, is dead. He's not in it, and we've got here, and the main characters in it are Wolverine, Cyclops, Beast, another character who the girl that walks through walls, I can't remember her name, but she walks through walls, and this character here, who, if memory serves, can't remember her name, but she was in one of the X-Men movies. You know what? She's the telepath who can also turn her skin into diamonds, but she is actually kind of like second in command to Cyclops in the X-Men and in the school, and she's got a completely different way of thinking of how the humans naturally be handled, a lot more of Magneto's way, that you need to handle it a bit more forcefully, rather than the Charles Xavier way, which is how the X-Men handle it, and that starts to cause dissent between the characters. At the moment, from what I've watched, she hasn't turned to be a villain yet, but we just need to wait and see if that is the way it goes, or if something happens to change that. But it definitely gives it an interesting dynamic to having dissent between the team, a wee bit of bickering that between them, rather than all hunky-dory type storylines that is what you usually get with X-Men. But bringing in this dynamic makes it really, really interesting. And they're obviously all struggling with Charles Xavier not being there and trying to overcome this. So it makes it very, very interesting and an in-depth story, which I thought was done really, really well. So I would definitely, that might become my favourite once I've watched all 4 seasons. But it's definitely off to a good start in the first season. Moving on to the last one, this was the one I thought was okay. Partly because I think the storyline was okay, and then it was Spider-Woman. I think the storyline was okay, but and this is the only motion comic where it isn't too much of a motion comic, in the sense of characters lip sync and don't move. The characters don't really move too much. In the other ones, you will see the characters physically moving, whereas this will just kind of jump between pictures of her moving for the most part, and it doesn't use as much in the way of movement, which I think lets it down. Having the movement and what they've done with the other ones really helped it be more of an animation of a animated cartoon, as opposed to a motion comic. And this one is a basic kind of motion comic you would expect to see on YouTube for free. The other complaint is you don't really see her as Spider-Woman very often. She's more often than not in plain clothes throughout the story, with 2 or 3 occasions where she's in the Spider-Woman costume, being Spider-Woman. But like I says, it didn't really live. I don't think it really lived up to it, and I don't think it did the character any favours. It's not a character that's been utilised often in media. I don't think we're going to see a live action movie of Spider-Woman anytime soon, but certainly doing things like this and not making it as good as you can possibly make it. I get they were trying to be different, but not having that motion, kind of more of an animated cartoon style, definitely hindered it when it came to the action and different things that were going on. So the whole series was called Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, Agent of S.W.O.R.D. So that's why I got predominantly she's not in a Spider-Woman costume. She's working undercover as an Agent of S.W.O.R.D. Can't remember what it stands for, but it's like to do with if you're not familiar with it, it's basically a government organisation to start looking into alien activity on Earth and out in space. So alien threats to the Earth. That's how the agency started. Similar to what S.H.I.E.L.D. does, only S.H.I.E.L.D. is run more secretly. No, people hadn't heard of S.H.I.E.L.D., whereas people know what S.W.O.R.D. exists. Like your MI5 and that, and your CIA and your FBI's. We don't know the inner workings and what's going on, but we know those exist. Same idea with the sword. The general public knew it existed, but didn't really know too much else about it. Whereas your S.H.I.E.L.D., up until more recent things with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. program and later comic books, people weren't aware of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s existence. So overall, the set is a very good set, and you probably will partially enjoy the Spider-Woman series. I thought it was okay. It was watchable. It was enjoyable enough. It wasn't bad. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't bad, but it just wasn't as good. It didn't come up to the standard of the other four series. But definitely I would definitely pick this up. I will be doing at some point a Wolverine set as well, which is all of the Wolverine movies. They did like 5 Wolverine films. One of Wolverine versus the Hulk, an origin story for Wolverine. So they've done their own adaptations of Wolverine stories, which I'm going to look to get in the near future once I can rattle up. It's going to cost me about £30. Unfortunately, unlike this set, which I picked up for about a tenner, the Wolverine set has never been made available in the UK, and I don't believe it will be. So I'm having to get the set from the US, which will cost about £16 at the top of post and packaging, and then I'll make it up to £30 by the time I get the 2 other series which haven't been made available here, which is the Eternals and the Inhumans. That'll make it up to £30, and that's including post and packaging and things. So I will be looking to do an unboxing, because these will be brand new sets, and a review of these sometime in the near future, once I can get the funds together to buy those sets. They're my next thing on the list to get. So I'll definitely pick these up if you're a fan of the Marvel series. But you get it on Game Marketplace for about £10, free delivery. It's 8 disc set, and there's hours and hours of footage on here. Definitely worth picking this up. So that's all for this video. I'm going to be doing videos immediately after this, so it'll all go up. So if you watch this video before I've had a chance to finish the other ones, I'm going to do a special video on all 8 of the Marvel movies. I'm going to be doing that for today, so look for that. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Feel free to leave any comments in the section as per usual, and feel free to subscribe to the channel and send any links to the channel to your friends. And at the moment we're only at 3 subscribers. I want to try and get that up to around, maybe even my first target is just to get to 10, and then we'll look to get to 20 and then get to 30. All in, I would like to have around 30 to 50. I'm not going to have any thousands of subscribers. I'm not looking for that. Long term, who knows? But if I can get to long term in the 50 region, that would be great. But at the moment I'm just looking to get to around 10 to 20 subscribers, which will be enough for me to start doing more videos on a more regular basis. So if you liked the video, like I said, hit the thumbs up, leave any comments that you would like, and I'll see you on the next video, which will be the review of all 8 Marvel animated movies. So thanks very much, and see you again next time.